1 second. I'm just going to try and share this without fucking it up. All right. Can you guys see that now? Yes. Awesome. All right. So I know that the guys obviously are talking about all the awesome stuff, and because I am not there, we're going to go a little bit off the run sheet and we're going to just kind of power through. And because I have no idea what time it is there at any point, Trav, where you guys have to stop and get food, just close the laptop. All right. So we've got a whole bunch of stuff, and I know for a few of you guys, we've talked about some of this stuff, but I think it's really important with Trav talking about online and all of us, you know, from what I can see, everyone getting super pumped about the online, that we all need to make sure that we're approaching this with an understanding that it's a whole nother part of your business, and that each segment of your business, be it inside the gyms or online, because for all of you, I think there's value in this being applied to your regular follow-up and your regular client nurturing, because as I talk about it a little bit further on, you know, we've really successfully extended RBT's client lifetime value by focusing on culture rather than what we can all get really bogged down on, which is how many times a day or a week, you know, do my trainers need to be harassing people or chasing them up or making sure that they're doing their nutrition, when ultimately we've seen that the best results come from just creating a really inclusive experience. So as much of that we can automate is fantastic. Some of this stuff you'll see applies to the sales process, the follow-up process, because the client experience starts with the marketing, which you guys have talked to about with Liam, and I won't bang on about that. But some of the stuff that we're going to talk about here, which we've really successfully implemented with some story, Instagram story stuff, is less so much about, you know, necessarily the nitty gritty of actually getting a client, but as much as it is about creating this really nice sense that, you know, people are getting results and people buy trust, and they'll buy trust even if they know it's being sold to them. Okay. So part of us all want to buy Kim Kardashian's makeup and Kylie Jenner's skincare because it's just fucking everywhere. Okay. So I want you guys to look at it that it's not so much that there's too much attention, it's too much individual attention that seems to cost us all money, time, stress, staffing, all sorts of horror. Is that Trav holding his hand up? You're like this big on my screen, mate.
Yeah, so are you. So can you press presentation mode and go to full screen as far as the slides?
Let me just see if it's not going to kill it.
Top right, present.
It's underneath you, so hold on 1 second.
There you go.
Can you guys still see? All right. So we want you guys to look at ultimately the following things are things that we're going to cover off in today, which is like a 3 to 5 part email sequence following opt-in. So everyone has to have that. Absolutely necessary. If you guys aren't sure, then we can zap it. We can do all sorts of really cool things. But ultimately for you guys, there has to be something that follows people registering for your, you know, lead, your download, whatever it is. Okay. The funny text message. I know Liam has been implementing this even for the business coaching side of things. And in the gyms, it's literally, I know even Rusty posted the other day some of the hilarious replies that he got back to this. It really is a really great way to break the ice. So we'll go through that again. The last chance Hail Mary, basically something that Ruben's posted about. I've stolen it, a version of it, and put it in here because I thought it was a really nice way of pulling it all together. Ruben, if you're listening, I'll never admit it's yours. And ManyChat and email marketing for your list. It's a very fun area, ManyChat. I really haven't, and I stand by this, seen it work incredibly well yet for lead generation, but it is a really cool way to create a marketing experience for existing and potential clients, and a very easy way to deliver content to them. And there's some great companies that are doing this very well. I haven't seen anyone doing it particularly well in fitness though. mainly vino mofo, but that could be my passion for wine. So we're also going to go through content creation and a sense of omnipotence. And for you guys, obviously, if you've read the run sheet, we're going to talk about a video that you'll be filming, and you will, of course, be filming a video with Chris following Activity Day, and then community and your tribe, and basically talking about how that is going to feed the lifetime value of your client more so than any stringent structure you put in place. So, contentious issue, but my dad's always said to me, you can only sell shit once. Okay, so if the product is crap, if your service is shit, if your staff are shit, it doesn't matter how good the marketing is, it doesn't matter how good your sales is, your follow-up, ultimately that's what will define your success. And then all the best deals are done in the bar. Now, my dad was talking literally. I take that as, you know, for you guys, it's looking at the whole experience and how are you making people feel like they're part of something, you know, that their friends are at the gym. You know, if you really want your gym to be a third place, you need to look at how you're fostering that community, because so many of us want it, but not many of us are willing to follow the structured processes, the McDonald's systems, if you like, that make everyone feel like every time I walk in there, there's going to be the same style of cheeseburger. There's trust in that. So we need to look at the whole picture as to how you're creating this sense of, I really want to go to the gym because I'm going to miss Julie. And it's not so much about the training. It's not so much about the session. It's about their friends. So first things first, the things that are easy to systemize, which is making sure every single one of you have got an email sequence that goes off to your prospects once they've opted in. And obviously the most important thing is that first email, and it just confirms for them that they have indeed registered. We get so many replies to this email months and months later, because sometimes it's the only thing that they can find that's easily searchable. And then you tell them a little bit about what happens next, and we're going to show you an example of what we've done. And then you give them the opportunity to purchase if you've got that option. So from us, you would know, and I'm sure Liam's talked a little bit about page 2 payment pages and making sure those are there if you guys have that opportunity. But ultimately for us, we always have a redirect to a payment option with a discount, and then maybe a nice recipe or whatever. Okay, I put recipes, but everyone knows that's because I love cooking. So under the assumption that you know it's going to take at least 2 to 3 days at the moment to get hold of people, you need to make sure you're covering off a few different things. So a quick kind of checklist for you guys is who you are, why they should listen to you, what you do, what to expect, results typical of working with you, and obviously some value wherever you can. And I'll give you guys some exact examples of this, but it's really hard because I can't really see any of you. But is anyone actually doing a full follow-up sequence for their prospects? Hand? No. Okay. Awesome. Well, then this will be something all of you will be doing by the end of today. So who are you? Nothing long-winded, because I don't want this to become like a huge, you know, your whole CV, you know, everything you've ever done. No one actually, I honestly to this day still don't know what a fucking check qualified PT is and what that means. I know it exists, but I don't know what it actually means. So that means none of your clients care and none of them know either. So their results or your qualifications or, you know, inflated about us monologue about how amazing you are, they don't care. They just want to know that you're going to change their life. So it's about who you help, what you do, a little bit about what you believe. You know, and RBT obviously has a really nice core values. And so for any of you that don't have core values, I suggest you run away after this, make them up and start communicating them, because they will start to form the language of how you speak in everything that you do. You know, for us, from flash reports to staff to shareholders to everything starts to sound exactly like us. All our communications to our staff, our members' newsletters, they sound like RBT. So why should they listen to you? How have you helped people just like them? Give them a sample, a recipe, a download, an easy to consume infographic, anything that gives them an idea of what you guys are about. You know, and I've said this for years. Is Ruben okay? Is everything okay? Yep. I've said this for years. No one rocks up to RBT expecting a Zumba class. Okay. They know what they're in for. They know what we believe in. Vegans, can't do it. Okay. So what you do is like a video of your training, your members, a last spots video. I'm going to show you an example of these. What are you waiting for? A little bit of a vibe, a bit of energy, something that indicates the people that they could be training with. And we incorporate some of this in the video messages and things like that we send out as well, which we've spoken to you guys about, just as a little bit more pattern interrupt. So what to expect, like everything above, it needs to reflect your style, your language, your members, and your experience. Because if you guys just use ours, it's obviously completely different as to how you guys talk to how we talk, okay? And results typical of working with you, screenshots or a quick YouTube link of before and afters, perhaps some screenshots of client testimonials. You know, you two could be as happy as Julie, who's just had the best wedding of her life. Whatever's real for you guys, okay? Email that comes straight away after opt-in. I think that at the moment, the latest stats are that your open rate for this email are 80% higher than any following email. It's the most important email you'll probably ever send a prospect. So it's really important that you guys are considering that there's a couple of little things that we have always and continue to do. It is the fact that we will always state that they are registered. We will always use words like congratulations, because we are assuming that they have taken part in the 28-day challenge, or that they will be taking part in the 28-day challenge or the 16-week challenge, insert whatever it is that we're doing. And for them, there's just this moment of, oh yes, of course I have, you know, successfully registered for the 28-day challenge. It doesn't occur to them at this point that they haven't paid anything. This is just a assumptive sale, okay? And then in the meantime, we tell them our amazing team will call you to book you in for some sessions and answer any questions you have about RBT gyms or the challenge. And then in the meantime, here's a recipe, okay? And then, oh, PS, if you want to save dollars and commit now, snap up some spots here, and there's a link to a payment page, okay? But they're getting some stuff. They know what it's about, and it's a delicious, you know, protein smoothie recipe. We'll do whatever. I'll add up and change recipes all the time, okay? But does that make sense to everyone?
Yeah.
Cool. Any questions about that email or anything that you guys are doing that you want to ask questions about?
When you send this? Yeah, that's what I'm confused. So when does this, like... Where do they opt in from? Yeah, where do they opt in?
28-day challenge ad.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so they're opted in for your ad, name, email, phone number, bang, straight into their inbox goes this.
So when you get the email through the ad, do you put it straight into your email marketing?
So for us, it's automated.
Which is from Facebook, yeah?
Sorry, Dan?
Facebook? This is from Facebook.
We send ours through Infusionsoft, so it's a Zapier link. Now it goes through Salesforce.
And the email goes out, this is automatically hooked up. As soon as they download, the email goes out because you hook it up through your email order.
Yeah. From what I'm saying, they got
They opted into the link that there's going to be a challenge, whatever challenge it is, this is straight away going out. 1 minute.
Yeah. On Facebook.
We'll make that. It's not like fucking smoke signal.
The connection's quite bad, so all I just got there was Travis saying fucking smoke signals. So hopefully Trav's answered for you guys. Comes off the ad, automatically this goes into their inbox as soon as they've registered interest in our ad, just as soon as they're a lead, okay? Now, after this, we have a couple of emails that go to our clients that are reflective of, you know, assuming that we're trying to get hold of them. They don't say that we're trying to get hold of them, but they include value. And we know, you guys know that we use some of these in our text messages as well. I'm not sure whether this will play, but let me see. Can you guys see the YouTube? Can you guys see it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you guys get the idea that for us, that's one kind of wrap up. We've got a mixed one, we've got a female one, and we've got a male one. Okay. And that for us means if I'm emailing it, it just goes to everyone. I don't care. It's a mixed one. All right. Because my automated email sequence, I don't really bother to have them segmented by male and female. It's just too hard. Okay. I just send them the mixed one. But when we have text messages, we will send out the individual one. So if I'm replying to Julie, Julie gets the female transformation one. Okay. And they're really easy to create. I'm not using it for my ads, so I can use as many before and afters as I like. And it's a really great way to show lots and lots and lots of transformations and just slow it down at the really good ones. And for us, we get lots of these through the 16-week challenges. So we're constantly updating them. All right. Then we've got these ones that we do, which is...
We'd love for you to come and join the amazing community we have here at RBT Brunswick. We only have 3 spots left in our next challenge, so... What are you waiting for? Click the link below. We'd love for you to come...
All right. So that's like a little one that we'll send at the back end of text messages. It'll be in our email sequence. And then you guys may or may not have seen we've even used those for ads. All right. And then this one is another example that we've used just because I don't want you guys to think that everything is like a massive production. Like we've pulled some of our best performing ads and our best performing text message videos from Instagram stories. So this was one that we pulled and then made into a square to actually market and then using it as text messages as well. It was like basically just a bit of community.
So, RBT on 3, 3, 2, 1. Hey! Woo! Awesome, right, guys. Have yourselves a good day.
Super simple. Like nothing exciting, but ultimately it gets them clicking, it gets them talking, it gets them involved in what we're doing. All right. All right. So then obviously the infographics, quick recipes, things like that as well. Just easy things that people can consume, share, screenshot, and ultimately want to reply to. Okay. Does everybody think that they could do those sorts of videos?
Yeah.
Cool. Does that make everyone feel positive about doing these sorts of video replies?
Yeah.
Cool. So I'm stealing from here some of Travis's infographics because I think if Travis can whip these up as quickly as he does, he honestly puts me to shame, that anyone can do it. And there's such awesome ways for you to share what you guys believe in and some of the values that you guys have as gyms, because we're all different in how we approach fitness. Ultimately, there are some, basal agreeing values in terms of, eat less shit than you actually exercise. But ultimately, how you guys express that and what you guys believe is very different. So you guys can start to look at easy ways of communicating this sort of stuff as well, and sharing that not just on your social, but also using these in your emails and also in text messages and things like that as easy ways for you to share value. And obviously many chat sequences and things like that when we get to that towards the end of the sequence. So I put a couple of in here that, like, obviously for most people, they really love the idea that, they can eat shit on the weekends and that they're okay. All right. I love this one. It even stopped me in my tracks before I realized it was Trav's. Like, the magical value of carbs after dark. Okay. It's funny. It engages people and they enjoy this idea because everybody wants to eat pasta. Everybody wants to eat pizza and not feel guilty. Okay. And then the same thing. This is a whole series in terms of eat this, not that. And it's something that you guys can very easily replicate. And it's an easy way for you guys to explain your nutritional values, what they can experience in your meal plans. Everyone says that their meal plans are delicious. And I got to tell you, most people's are not. So you guys have to look at this and go, how can you explain to people that eating whole foods and eating stuff is actually delicious? Okay. I'm sure Travis has If he doesn't now, he's going to share some hilarious stories about the online groups, because I think even Trav and I had forgotten what it's like to manage online groups. All right. Now, welcome sequences, and you can see these examples can be delivered by text, emails, chatbots, messengers, because all of the examples that we've shown you are quick, they're easy, they're fun, and they're different, okay? They're not what everybody else is sending. If you're opting in for a big box gym, these are not the sort of things that you're going to be getting. And ultimately, everybody knows they need to exercise. They're choosing to exercise with you. But at the same time, you're creating this great content that gives your members a whole lot of significance because they see themselves in marketing. And we had a whole bunch of different examples of this where we created Instagram stories and things like that, purely less so much for lead generation, but just for the members to share it, comment on it, and have a great time because they see themselves, okay? So they do create great content, some of those infographics for member posts and content, and it's easy for you guys to create quickly or outsource, okay? And they create great group and posts on your newsletters, all the stuff that we're going to talk about. You can reuse them across all your platforms, all right? Now, a couple of things we did want to touch on is following up, because the follow-up sequence and the experience that you give clients as part of the sales process is still the member experience. So we get so many people that love the fact that we don't give up on them, okay? So for as many people that will get really shitty that you won't go away, there's just as many people that love the fact you don't go away. So a couple of things that we definitely do is we're quite vague in our text messages. We certainly don't go into the whole details of what the 28-day challenge or 16-week challenge includes in a text message and attempt to try and sell someone via text, okay? It's very much, sorry we missed you, we'll try you again in 30 minutes, live from your 28-day challenge, okay? It's very general. And it also tells them I'm going to call them back. So if they don't want me to call them back, they're more likely to reply to this. Then I try calling Julie 30 seconds after I send this. Okay. Now, because girls don't answer phone numbers that they don't know. So if they get a text message, they may open that text message. Okay. And in opening it, you're calling back and they accidentally answer. Okay. It's a nice, quick, easy way to try and double dial people. Okay. And if they do answer, you're like, oh, it's a mistake. Sorry, I was calling the thing. But while I've got you, I'll just have a chat to you about the 28-day challenge. Now, for guys, you guys kind of a little bit more of a nagging wife strategy where we'll call 2 or 3 times in a row without hanging up. So we'll just hang up, call, hang up, call, hang up, call before we send anything, because ultimately guys are more likely to just pick up a number that's persistent. Okay? And never call from an unknown number. Ever. Cool? Does anybody use these sort of follow-up texts currently?
Another thing we do is if we're calling from a landline, some people don't answer from landlines. I don't know if you do this. So if they don't answer from a landline, just call them immediately off the mobile. Answer the mobile.
Yeah. The mobile's good. All right. Emails at the end of the day, every day that we've tried to contact someone, we'll send them an email. And it's literally, hey, Julie, we tried to call you today about your registration for a 28-day challenge on the number provided. We'll try again tomorrow. Okay. And then you'll notice the subject lines indicate people are more likely to open. Okay. Your registration is complete. All right. End of the week is we missed you. And hey, Julie, we've been trying all week. So we want to show you some of our awesome results just so you know the next winner could be you. And that's when we'll put in things like the YouTube videos and things like that as well. Okay. And then we've got after 5 days, you have a pending credit is the subject line. Okay. And this is one that we used for a cryotherapy thing. So you guys can see the same thing. We wanted to give you great news. RBT have extended our amazing offer, and you can do like a discount, or you can do the same price, but no one really knows. And you can say like an additional $10 to use in conjunction. Okay. So it's up to you guys if you give a discount or if you just inflate it to keep the same price. It doesn't really matter. But the subject line, you have a pending credit, works insanely well. All right. There's the RBT version. Okay. So you can see we've given an additional $25 discount, only 77, blah, 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 blah. All right. Now, the 9-word emails, I know for some of you, we have talked everyone's ear off about these, but if anyone has actually done them, they know how incredibly powerful and effective they are. So for us, the most important thing is following these rules. There's 5 do not bust these rules. There's no fancy text, no images, no headlines, no logos, no signatures, nothing. Don't make it look anything like the rest of your emails. Plain text only. If you can convert it, do. Fight every urge you have to sign it off. Okay, no name, no thank you, no best wishes, no yours in fitness, nothing. Do not change the subject lines from what we tell you, and follow these template styles. If you want to use something different, post it in the group and we'll look at it to see whether it's creepy enough. Okay. Now the subject line is only ever hey or their name. So if you've got an email provider that can allow you to merge just their name into a subject line, do that. Otherwise, hey is fine. We tested it the other day with emojis and it had no difference. Okay, so you don't even need emojis. Then you can choose one of something similar to this. Do you still want to lose 5 kilos guaranteed? Because obviously RBT does 5 kilos guaranteed for the 28 days. Do you still want to lose weight? Do you still want to get fit for summer? Are you looking for your best body yet? Like super vague every time. Don't sign it off, nothing else. That is all that happens in that email. Okay. Now you can see here, this is where we tested the emojis, as you guys can see. Now we were doing this to cold leads. So this was going out to male and female. So we picked something that was a little bit more vague for both males and females. And obviously this is the sort of thing you get back. Yes. Now we can go into email sequences, but obviously because most of these people have given you their name, email, phone number in the past, we simply just call them. All right. So they're that simple. Like I promise you, you can see that is us sending and me getting it because of me testing every funnel known to mankind. All right. Has anybody used these? Did they work?
Yeah.
Okay. So try and put them into your cycle probably minimum, like at least every 12 weeks. You don't want to be doing it any shorter than that because you really want them to be quite old leads. And if you guys are doing follow-ups and putting them on newsletters and things like that, the most important thing is that they've kind of not really heard from you in a while. Okay. And it is the idea that they are quite intrigued by it that works. Okay. And this is one literally that we did just the other day, 11th of September. All right. Now the Hail Mary text this was Rusty posting in the group the other day saying this shit works. And it's literally, you guys can test it. I think Liam's got a funny one about being attacked by aliens or something funny that Liam's got going on at the moment. But ultimately for us, it's that you're trapped under a filing cabinet in the office and that you can't possibly answer your phone because that would be the only reason why you'd be so rude as to not answer our 5 million phone calls is basically the context of the funny text. Okay. So it's kind of taking the mickey out of the fact that they are being quite rude and that instead of you guys getting angry or giving up on them, that you're going to say that you've tried so many times. The only reason I can think you wouldn't reply is that you're trapped under a filing cabinet in the office. All right. And typically what you'll get is a hilarious text back. This woman actually wins the prize for the funniest reply because she did go something, maybe sometimes she's trapped under her boyfriend. But there we go. Some people overshare. But it does work and it does definitely re-engage some really quite cold, uncontactable leads because sometimes people are just genuinely busy. I am a terrible replier to things. All right. And then last chance basically is where we're giving away for a discount. Okay. So great way to get back in and try us out. Just reply me if you're interested and I'll give you a call on Monday. Then if they reply me, they go straight onto they get a Stripe page with a payment link. All right. And then I know some of the guys in the 1% did this the other day, and there was so many that he just replied back going, okay, first in, best dressed, just pay here instead of calling. All right. So it's a great way to just kind of engage people with a bit of scarcity, because the science behind people taking action is still the same, whether it's text, email, ads, anything. It's all about scarcity and people feeling like they're going to miss out. Okay. So that's essentially some of the basics for that immediate follow-up process. It's a little bit hard to hear everyone, but if you have any questions about, and I can't really see anyone except for Vicky. So if anyone has any questions about that follow-up sequence, do you want to try and yell them out, or is everyone good?
Do you have like a timeline?
3 to 5 days.
Now, in like what should be set out, what times and all that, so it's a bit more clearer than just looking at the slide.
Yeah, we can send it out. It's literally just us following up with those like videos and stuff like that. But I can post it again in the 1% group with the actual emails.
You get a better response from phone or email?
Phone.
You get much of a response from email?
The emails are always secondary to the phone. So the emails are kind of there for us as more of a trail to give something a bit more credibility and trust than it is for us ever really selling or engaging anyone through email. So the email is kind of like a backup for us where they're getting missed calls, they've got an email. So sometimes they'll reply to the email and say, sorry, I think someone's been trying to call me. Can you call me back?
Is it automated through the email, or do you have to physically send it?
It's automated. So it's for us, it's a 3 to 5 part email sequence, depending on what it is.
I'm just trying to think, so if you call them and they don't respond,
yep.
You email them that night and then proceed.
So if we don't respond, if they don't respond to our phone calls, then what we have is these automated emails from, let me just go here. So this is the text message after every missed call.
Yeah.
This is at the end of every day. We manually send this.
Oh, you manually send it.
Yeah. So these are like the manual process. And then it's like we've missed, so they're templated. Okay. And it's just basically like, this is what we send them at the end of the week if we haven't heard from them. All right. And after 5 days, we'll send out the pending credit.
And how long do you, before they become void?
Before they become void, typically the guys will stop calling them harassingly after 10 days. But that also usually coincides with the end of that marketing cycle, because the guys are usually working to targets, right? So that's why we'll end up always following up with our cold leads, because for you guys and what you guys will realize at scale is that there's no real way for us to track what happens after the end of that campaign. So that's why we'll have processes where they're getting newsletters and they're getting cold, like 9-word emails after max 12 weeks. Because that is a way for us to try and re-engage everyone. I know a lot of the guys will do pushes with last-minute flash sale texts and things like that as they hit the end of a campaign. I don't know if Ruben's still there, but Ruben was notorious for this. Ruben was relentless when it came to the end of his month, and it would just be like bang, 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 bang. But then after that, like from a club level, we don't really know what happens to them after that campaign concludes. So that's why we've got other things that happen at the back end. Does that make sense, Aaron?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. All right. So one of the things that is really important for you guys to create a community and for then things to be shared and people to want to be a part of something and be really proud of their gym and their trainers and their members is content. And so for us, ultimately, you know, when you're looking at content for lead generation, but also for members, you know, you need to be looking at what are the problems that they wish they could solve? What do they wish they knew? Okay. And what do they blame their problem on? And I know when a lot of you saw that we were doing the 7-day keto thing, it was like, oh, do you believe in keto? And it's like, well, it's just really an easy way of calorie restricting someone for a 7-day period so that they lose weight. Although you'd be very surprised with the amount of people who don't understand what calorie restriction is for 7 days, or that you can't eat potatoes on keto. So it's a way, it's a hook, and it's a mechanism for us to attract attention. So it's like a reason. It's like, oh, don't worry, Julie, you're actually really struggling with your weight because you haven't done this. Okay, so it's a great way for you guys to think about from marketing, but also for you guys, it's an easy way of you starting to go, okay, if I want to get someone results, I want to be able to show them how they can still eat low carb cake and enjoy life, because that's what people think their problem is, that they can't have low carb cake. And you guys would remember the huge paleo guilt-free dessert period where everyone was eating a truckload of dates in a raw cashew date vegan paleo cake, wondering why they couldn't lose weight. Okay, but it was a thing. They felt like that was a guilt-free dessert and they could eat as many as they want. So what you guys need to do is look around you and go, if I'm trying to attract this type of niche, who are they listening to and what are they telling them to do? And how can I either replicate that, modify it, or adjust it and actually call them out on it, right? You can go all Lane Norton and just call bullshit on everyone. Or you can go, oh, okay, well, this is an easier way. And if you look at some of the things that Trav's doing really well with the infographics, is he's taking some things that are common misconceptions and giving them a very easy shareable way of communicating it rather than like a big long post, but also communicating quite advanced nutritional concepts in a really fun, easy to picture thing that has emojis of pizza on it. Okay, so it's just about taking some really quite advanced concepts and remembering that you have to talk at 5th grade level. Okay, so for a lot of you, there's this overwhelming desire to start talking about really quite advanced concepts, but how do I if I had to put this into a picture, how would I do it? And it's quite a skill, and it's quite something that is, if you can do it well, will reap a lot of viral rewards. Okay, the simpler it is, the easier it is for people to share. Okay, what do they do in their spare time? What's holding them back from their goals? It's no point us saying you can't go out and have drinks with the girls or you can't have birthday cake on your kid's birthday. It's about trying to fit in around their life, okay, and making it easy. And we used to do this really successfully with the online program back in the day, like 3 years ago when we were doing the sports model project. And Trav and I, for the first 4 weeks, would let them eat. Basically, we followed the concept of IIFYM. And it was like, I don't really care what you do as long as it fits your macros. And there were like people making McDonald's fit their macros and all sorts of things. But the most important thing we could do for that first 4 weeks was get them used to tracking, because that was the overwhelming part. So if I could let them track food that they like, they're more likely to take it on board. They're more likely to adapt to that behavior. And then you can shift the habits about foods. Okay, so it's always about trying to make it as easy and as fun as possible for your prospects. And then when they're clients and when they're long-term clients, they trust you and they'll take more and more and more and more of your advice. Okay, then this is like a public service announcement. Women don't actually want you to solve their problems. They just want you to listen to them. That's in every part of your life. Okay, so we just want you to tell us that we are okay and we're right. All right? I don't ever want you to try and fix it. Okay? So for you guys, that's the easiest thing to remember also with your clients, is to not tell people that it's an excuse or it's this. It's like, perhaps you want to look at it from this angle. Never the solution, okay? It's always trying to empathize rather than trying to tell people that they're wrong. And men, just be straight and to the point, okay? Travis gets very irritated how many times I can talk around a bush to get to the point, okay? So also with your content, it's something that I think a lot of people really don't visit enough. And if you don't have core values, it's very important that you take the time to do them, to talk to them, to communicate them, because ultimately, what do you as a company stand for and against? Because that will form more so of your content than anything else. You have to believe in something, and you also have to believe that something is wrong, because that's what gives people, that's what draws people to you, okay? And a lot of us in the room have very big personalities, so that's not a problem, okay? It's not a problem to express exactly how you guys feel about things in the way that you want to express it, because that's what will appeal to the right type of client to you, and you won't end up with the energy vampires that want you to be something that you're not. Does that make sense? All right. So over the next little bit, it's like looking at, and I'll kind of go through some of this stuff just because I want to make sure that we don't go too far over, because you guys will have more time to do this, but with the time difference, I will not. So core values, you need to consider about how they fit. And if you don't have them, consider what you're going to create to be your core values. But I want you to apply them in specific 4 segments, how your core values apply to member experience and how you live them. Like, how are your core values actually expressed in your member experience? Okay. How is they expressed in your staff expectations? So your staff experience, okay, your nutritional beliefs and your training beliefs. Okay. You need to consider how your core values are being reflected in that quadrant, because ultimately, if you're missing anything, they are the main areas. Okay. So it's all very nice and well to say that, you know, you empower, but are you empowering in your staff expectations or in your staff experience? Or are you being a level, you know, 2 sort of dictatorial leader? Okay. So it's important for you guys to look at where there might be any disjoint, any disconnect in how you are communicating your values, not just in how you would like them to be seen in the outside world, but by the people who are actually delivering your core values and your client experience. Do they feel like you're living your core values? All right. Just yell out if you don't. Does everyone in the room have core values? I think everyone said yes. So sorry, it's really hard to hear. Did anyone say no, Vicky?
Did anyone say no? No. No.
Like, you're the only person I can see. Okay, so for you guys, does anyone have any problems with actually mapping this out in a quadrant as to where your core values fit for each area? Because I'll get you guys to do it later and post it, because I don't want to take too much time before I'm assuming you guys have to eat lunch in a minute.
Yeah.
Okay. So then it's looking at, what are the 3 missions that you have in your business? Okay. If you could only achieve 3 things, what would they be? And how do you achieve the results? Okay. How do you do that? Looking at your core values. Who can speak for you? Okay. Looking at some of your members, looking at your staff, looking at how they feel that story would be told, and how can you share your message succinctly and in a way that's easy for you guys to share. Okay. So they're like the biggest things taking into like lunch, is trying to express your core values so far in that process. Does anyone have any questions?
So guys, with our core values, just so we can understand, you might all have core values, but how many of your staff know every single one of your core values and they can explain what your core values are, what it means to stand for your core values, what it means to stand against your core values? Hand up.
Core values as in culture or as in
the core values of your business.
The company values.
With this guys, for example, RBT is empower and educate, community driven, result driven, and inspire, right? So we know exactly there's actual things that is for our core values, actual things that are against our core values. So when they're doing any of these things against our core values, it's like, okay, great, you're not in line with our core values. And you know that right now because you actually have articulated what's not in our core values. With for our core values, we know that you are inspiring, we know you are empowering and educating, we know you are result driven, we know there's KPIs around our core values. Does all your members know your core values? No. So this is crucial as well. Like the members must know the core values of the gym because they live by that too. They inspire each other for us. They inspire each other. They educate and empower new members coming in. Are they result driven and actually have their numbers on the board or whatever they're doing, right? So for us, we are moving towards a goal because our core value as a company and you as a member is result driven. Are you community driven? You're part of that community or not? So they know, are they in line with our core values as a member? Because our core values are designed to get them the best results. This is how you live in our core values as a member. This is how you live out. Do you turn up to community events? No. Well, you're not living inside our core values, so you're not going to get the best results. Okay? Are you result driven? Are you tracking your macros? Are you tracking your set? No, you're not living in our core values, so you're not getting the best results. You know, are you inspiring? Are you actually inspiring other members? Are you inspiring yourself? No? Okay, you're not living our core values. That's how you get the best results. Who has this written out for their members and know that they're in line with the core values of your company and who is not?
Core values like ours are more based around our coaches, right?
So your core values as a company needs to transcend business, coach, client.
But all of them together.
All together. Your core values can't be like, as a company, like as a coach, you have core values. Your members have to have the core values. They have to transcend, right? They have to be, you have to go community driven. Okay, then as a community driven coach, are you actually doing a community event once a month? You know, are you actually engaging with your 60 members every single week? Like, are you doing the community stuff inspiring? Do you look like a piece of shit? Or are you actually looking like a good, inspiring coach? No, they get to look like a piece of shit. It's like, or do you have goals? Are you result driven? You might not look fantastic aesthetically, but maybe you have other goals which are strength-based goals, whatever you're doing with that. Like for yourselves, like your coaches must live within the core values. So they empower and educate each other. Okay, because that means, okay, cool. From us down, company to them, this is it. Them to them, cross culture, that's the core values. Them to the members, the core values run true. If they stop with the coach, then how can you have it as the company? Because your members are a part of your company. This makes sense for everyone? So then every single thing you do, okay, part of our core values is you go put a post up inside a members group every single week. What would the post be about? Something about your community, something about your results, or something that's going to educate and empower them. Fantastic, do all three, right? Core values, tick tock, tick, right? So this is like, if you're not doing this, you're not living inside our core values as a company, which means, okay, this day, live inside our core values. If you can't, then leave the company. So it's not just KPIs as far as are you making your sales and turning up to actually do your job. Are you actually living by our core values, and that's why you should that's what you've created.
Cool. I will go let you guys eat.
You tell he's hungry. Bye.
Thanks, Dad.
I'll see you guys after lunch.